During the pandemic, retailers were hit hard by criminals smashing windows to steal luxury products, including on Michigan Avenue and Oak Street in Chicago. It's happening everywhere. Joining us with solutions is Neil Bradley, the Executive Vice President and Chief Policy Officer of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Great to have you with us. And how big of an issue is organized crime and this retail theft that's happening nationwide?
Well, this is a national epidemic. Let me put some numbers behind that to help prove that point. If you're talking about small businesses, 54%, a majority, report an increase in theft over the last year. If we look at larger stores, we can actually quantify the value of what is being stolen. For about every $1 billion in sales, $700,000 is lost to theft. According to our friends at the National Retail Federation, that's up 50% over the last 5 years. If you happen to listen into Wall Street earnings calls, it's actually become common for CEOs to talk about retail theft as a pressure on their business that's hurting the bottom line. So this is widespread. The costs are just growing. And of course, for many clerks and local stores and communities, it's also a real personal tragedy.
How are these crimes committed exactly? And how are the thieves getting away with all of these goods?
So it's a confluence of factors that have come together. First, over the last decade plus, most states have moved to increase the threshold for which individuals are prosecuted as a felony for theft. We thought that we were doing that in response to just your typical individual who's having a hard time stealing something. What happened is that the criminals realized that if they kept their theft under that level, they could get away with it. And so you literally have folks coming in with calculators to make sure they're under the threshold because they know they won't be prosecuted. That got combined with organized crime rings who recognized a chance to make money. So what they could do was organize people to go in and steal the goods and then sell them online anonymously. So the combination of less prosecution, less enforcement, combined with the ability to unload these goods anonymously without fear of being caught, has meant that we've essentially created open season on retailers where people can steal and resell goods without any fear of law enforcement coming down on them.
What can we do?
Well, we have to do a couple things. First, at the national level, we need Congress, and there's bipartisan legislation to do this, to close up the ability of these organized crime rings to sell these goods online. Back when thieves used to unload their goods at a pawn shop, we made pawn shops keep records of who was selling so that people couldn't do that anonymously and we could follow up. We need to do the exact same thing with online marketplaces, and I'm confident we're going to get that done this year. Second, we need state lawmakers to take action to increase the penalties. So if someone's stealing things from a store in the morning and doing the same thing in the afternoon, let's aggregate those crimes together. If they're working with other people to do these thefts, let's treat that for what it is, an organized crime ring. And then finally, we need local prosecutors to prosecute. We've seen states taking action. It's not just red states or blue states, both. Florida, Illinois have both recently passed legislation to go after this. We need to replicate that across the country, and we can put an end to this.
How can people get involved?
Well, Angie, I hope folks will go to uschamber.com/retail theft. That's uschamber.com/retail theft. And you can learn more about how big of a problem this is and what we can do to stop it.
Thank you so much for bringing us up to date.
Thanks, Angie.
Go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.